Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, Suki Hontu. Very good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining us so early at 9:15 a.m. To those of you who are joining us for the very first time, the online team wish you have more and more refreshing opening video to our online Dhamma events. This segment is called Voices of Blooms. In this segment, we are featuring talented singers and groups of Buddhist songs. The groups will be introduced. They will tell us about the group or about the song. What are their inspiration regarding the group they are involved in. This segment will also be able to publicize Buddhist songs as wide as possible. This will serve as an encouragement to talented Buddhists to use songs to promote Dhamma. With that, I would like to introduce to you the young group, Calvin Chan and Madeline Yee, who are part of the Buddy Sings. Hi to both of you, Calvin Chan and Madeline Yee. How are you this morning?
Hi, good morning, Brother Chuan. And hi, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. My name is Calvin Chan, and I'm the music director for Buddy Sing. So yeah, essentially, I take care of all the music arrangement and production within Buddy Sings with the help of the team, of course.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Madeline, and I'm mainly in charge of video editing for Buddy Sings.
Wow, it's great to have both of you this morning to be with us in this segment. Last week, Pauline actually talked about the Buddy Sings goals of spreading the Dhamma through modern music. Could you elaborate more on what are some of the things that Buddy Sings have been doing for the past 2 years?
Well, you see, for the past 2 years, it's been a very interesting journey for us. And as we are preparing and raising funds for our first EP. So an EP is essentially an album with 6 songs. We are preparing 6 songs. So in order to do that, we are actually working on a segment called Tuesday. So in Tuesday, what we try to do is we try to bring old songs back to life by rearranging them using modern techniques. And yeah, so times has changed, and the trends in terms of musics that the youth today likes have also changed accordingly. And the popular music of the 80s and 90s is very different from the popular music that people listen to right now. So yeah, just like how songs like Don't Stop Believing was actually popular in the 80s, I didn't really know about it personally until until it was rearranged by the TV show Glee in 2009. So yeah, that's what we're trying to achieve here with older Buddhist hymns. So yeah, growing up with them in Dhamma school, you see, these songs are very dear to our hearts. But the people nowadays, they might not know the songs, especially the younger generation. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to put Buddhist music into modern genres. So yeah, putting swing in the song Ehipasiko or putting Wesak Dawn in a more of a rock context. So to let it fit better with the current trends. Yeah, so recently we've been looking into doing covers of positive pop songs as well to try and draw in some crowd and try to introduce people to the older Buddhist music, but in a new context.
Oh.
Yeah. So now that we have the technology, sharing our music to the world has become much easier, especially since Buddy Sings are on platforms such as YouTube, Spotify, and even Instagram. Being on these platforms makes our music more accessible to everyone. So we have listeners from Ireland, Germany, and Indonesia tuning into our music. But when there's accessibility, there's always a challenge that comes with it, which is the amount of people on the platform. So it kind of makes it harder for us to stand out. Therefore, because we have our own colors and we add youthful flares to our music, that's how we try to stand out in this digital space. So ultimately, our goal is to modernize the way we bring the Dhamma to use through music and bringing it into the digital space. Yeah.
Wow. Sadhu to both of you and to the group. It's amazing to see how times have changed. Digital world is very much different from our times. Just like we are lost with this new technology. Could you share with us some of the stumbling blocks that you have faced trying to get Buddhist music into the digital world?
Yeah, sure. Well, you see, trying to break into the digital world, it takes quite a bit of resources, I would say. So, yeah, both in terms of time, in terms of money, and you see, in the digital media realm, we don't just need to attract people's attention through music, but also visually. So, yeah, this is very time consuming, especially when to be very frank with you, we're not professionals in this. So yeah, on average, each 5-minute song cover that we do requires us to put in about 20, 30 hours of work to actually collectively to actually make it a polished product. And so especially for some more challenging projects like the EP that we're working on, we also need external help as well. So I mean, for me currently, I'm still studying, and Madeline is studying as well. So our time is still quite flexible, and we can work on these projects as a hobby. So, but yeah, I've seen many other youths who actually want to venture into this and make this their career, but well, they are unable to yet due to the financial constraints that are surrounding this for the time being. So yeah, most of the Buddhist music groups that I know of right now, including ourselves, are not really financially sustainable yet. Yeah, and I think for me that's one of the biggest stumbling blocks as going into digital media itself.
Wow, today you surprised me that you need so many hours. You're talking about 30 hours of work. Collectively, that's a lot. So you have mentioned about the group not being financially sustainable yet. So what is it that the community can do to help to support Buddy Sings?
Well, we as Buddy Sings are very lucky because we have the support of Bucks to help us kickstart the project. But in order to sustain ourselves, our Buddhist music, we really need the help and support of the community. So one of the ways to help us is to head on to buddysings.com, buddysings.com, where people can help us, can find our donation page, as well as purchase our merchandise, such as this shirt that we both are wearing, me and Calvin are wearing. Or if you're unable to support us financially, it will really help if everyone shares our songs on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram to help us spread the word.
Really awesome to see the youth trying their best to uphold the Buddha Sasana. I would love to listen to your rendition of Visak Dawn. You see, you have a very nice song there. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing song. Personally, having heard it through Dhamma school students singing that song every year, especially during Vesak for so many years. Yeah, so rearranging the song to become a rock version really, for me, it gave the song a new life. And yeah, I truly believe that with your help especially, we can really change the perspective of youth towards Buddhist music by doing new renditions of these songs, coming up with new songs and things like that. And yeah, ultimately we really want to remove the stigma against Buddhist music that the general public has. And yeah, I sincerely hope that after you've heard this rendition of the song, you'll feel the same way too.
Well, brothers and sisters, you heard what Calvin Chan and Madeline Yee spoke about, mentioning about the group and the stumbling blocks. So let us hear their songs. We will play the song. Let's enjoy it.
Thank you, Brother Troy.
ocean deep. To the one who taught the Dhamma of the Noble Eightfold Way. To the Buddha, dearest sister, lift a tender mind today. Tiptoe through the moonlit night, with the flowers and incense smoking loud through bars of purple light. Bids you now to awaken gently, lift your troubled eyes asleep. Tendering thoughts of homage holy, cross and sorrow's ocean deep. To the one who taught the Dhamma of the Noble Eightfold Way. To the Buddha, dearest sister, lift your tender mind today. To the one who taught the Dhamma of the Noble Eightfold Way. To the Buddha, dearest sister, lift your tender mind today.
Pass it on, pass it on. Let the Buddha's wisdom stay on. Pass it on, pass it on. Let the Buddha's love spreads on. There is a gift from Lord Buddha. I like to share it with my family, share it with all my friends, and take it round the world and share it with all beings. Pass it on, pass it on,
Pass it on.
let the Buddha's compassion flows on. Pass it on,
Pass it on.
pass it on,
Pass it on.
let the Buddha's teaching goes on and on. Pass it on,
Pass it on.
pass it on,
Pass it on.
let the Buddha's wisdom stays on. Pass it on,
Pass it on.
pass it on,
Pass it on.
let the Buddha's love spreads on. Pass it on,
Pass it on.
pass it on,
Pass it on.
let the Buddha's compassion flows on. goes on and on. Pass it on, pass it on. Let the Buddha's teaching goes on and on.
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Very good morning to everyone out there, to all our Dhamma friends. Very happy to see you again. Familiar names appearing in our Sunday Facebook Live. Well done to all of you who had logged in at 9:15 a.m. And I hope you have enjoyed those beautiful Dhamma songs. Learning so much of our Buddhist youth today. Listening to those Dhamma songs which are wonderful and meaningful as you are following the lyrics. These songs bring Dhamma to our hearts. Now we can see what the youth can do as influencers to the Buddhist community or societies. Please support them. Example, encouraging yourself and your family to access to the songs via their various online platforms. To those of you who did not join us earlier, do join us when we make announcement on the Voices of the Bloom when we begin at 9:15 a.m. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, we'd like to inform you is that after we will continue with the online Buddha Puja service. Remember to have a calm mind if you're encountering some problem on the internet. Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Welcome to Subang Jaya Buddhist Association, the 44th online Sunday Buddha Puja service. We organize this weekly online puja service in order to give an opportunity to our Buddhist devotees near and far to continue with our Buddhist faith and practices, participating in the puja and listening to the Dhamma sharing. Let us prepare ourselves by sitting comfortably, relax our bodies and compose our mind, let go of thinking about the past and future, but be in the present moment. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us begin our Sunday Buddha Puja. To the devotees who have prepared the offerings, you may light your candles or oil lamp. Let us start the offerings to the Buddha. I shall now invite Brother Chim to do the offering. Let us start the offerings to the Buddha. To the other devotees, you may just place your palms together in Anjali and have a calm mind. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. 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 Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us pay homage to the Triple Gem. Buddhang bujemi, Dhammang bujemi, Sanghang bujemi. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us do it together to take the refuge in the Triple Gem and observe the 5 precepts. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panchasila. Anatipata veramani sikkapadang samadhiyami. Adinadana veramani sikkapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu miccachara veramani sikkapadang samadhiyami. Musawada veramani sikkapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majjapama dathana veramani sikkapadang samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkapadani samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkapadani samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkapadani samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddhanusati. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vijacarana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati Sattha Deva Manusanang Buddho Bhagavati Swagato Bhagavata Dhammo Sandediko Akaliko Ehipasiko Opanayiko Pachatang Veditavo Venuhiti Subhadipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Nyayapatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Samiji Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Yadidang Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttarang Punya Ketang Lokasadi Chetya Vandana Vandami Chetyang Sabbang Sabbatane Supatitithang Saririka Dhatu Mahabodhing Buddha Rupang Sakalang Sadang Yassa mule nisinova sabbari vijayang aga pato sabbanyutang sattha vante tang bodhipadapang ime te mahabodhi lokanatena pujita Aham pite namassami Bodhi Raja namatute Hadipa Puja Ganasarapaditena Dipena Tamadansidang Diloka Dipang Sambuddhang Pujayami Thamonudang Ganda Sabbara Yuttena Dupena Hang Sugandina Pujaye Pujaniyang Tang Puja Bhajana Mutamang Vanna Ganda Gunopetang Etang Kusuma Sandating Pujayami Munindasa Siripada Sarorohe Pujami Buddhang Kusumena Nena Punnena Metena Chahotu Mokang Popang milayati yatha idang me kayo tatayati vinasa bhavang adivase tu nobante paniyang parikapitang anukampang upadaya patikanha tumutamang Kayena vacha cittena pamadena maya katang akchayang kamame bante buripanya tathagata Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya gatang akchayang kamame dhamma sandika akalika. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang akshayang kamame sangha supatipanna anuttara. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. This morning, we are very pleased to have Brother Tan Siang Chye to be with us again in our Sunday Buddha Puja. Brother Siang Chye will be giving a Dhamma talk with the title Protecting and Maintaining One's Safety and Well-Being, which is a continuation of his earlier talk 2 weeks ago on the Sigala Vata Sutta. I believe most of you have known Brother Siang Chye very well, but please allow me to introduce Brother Siang Chye to those who are new. Brother Siang Chye began his formal Buddhist education as a student of the Buddhist Institute Sunday Dhamma School Brickfield at the age of 12. Among his early teachers were the late K.S. Ramananda and Venerable Gunaratana. He joined the Buddhist Missionaries Society Youth Session at the BME after completing his tertiary studies and served as a vice chairman and then the chairman. He also served in the ESCO of the parent body, BMSM. He's active in sharing the Dhamma at the various Buddhist centers in Malaysia and Singapore, and he is also a striving meditator. Brother Siang Chye was also head of the Dhamma committee while serving in the ESCO of Subang Jaya Buddhist Association and was later appointed as SJBA lay Dhamma advisor. Brother Siang Chye's talks center around daily practice of the Dhamma and how it can transform one's life. He feels it is important to understand the essential teachings of the Buddha, as it gives the Buddhists a strong foundation of knowledge which will prevent them from wrong interpretation and practice of the Dhamma. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, if you have any questions pertaining to this talk, you may type your questions in the comment section. We shall read the questions after the Dhamma talk for Brother Siang Chye to give you an answer. However, we might not be able to answer all questions due to time constraint. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us now for palms together to invite Brother Siang Chye to give the Dhamma talk on protecting and maintaining one's safety and well-being. Brother Siang Chye.
Good morning, dear Dhamma brothers and sisters. Namo Buddhaya, to everyone who are tuning in to our Dhamma sharing this morning. As mentioned by the MC, Brother Chim, I would like to continue with the long sutta called the Sigala Sutta. And this section is actually the earlier section to what I discussed some weeks ago. And it is important to understand the message of this sutta, sutra or discourse by the Buddha. So the Buddha's teachings that are delivered to various groups of people and to individuals as well are known as suttas in Pali. In Sanskrit, we use the word sutra. So this section is very important to us lay people who work very hard, for a living. And how the Buddha emphasizes the ways to protect and maintain one's safety and well-being, as we go on with our lives, with our families, with our friends. How do we actually ensure that our possessions, what we own, what we have worked so hard for, we have sweated and toiled, and put in a lot of effort to amass, to gain all these things. So it is also about the material property that we own, as well as the wider social network, which concerns family as well as friends. Because the Buddha understood that the people whom we mix with are very important to the nature of our life. So therefore, he placed a great emphasis on knowing, of identifying, of being able to recognize the different people that come into our social circle as friends, as business partners, as acquaintances. How do we look after ourselves, and how do we look after our good friends as well? So this sutta, next slide please. As I explained in the last talk, was delivered to the young man called Sigala. And this young man, he was not a Buddhist. He in fact, his parents were actually enlightened beings. They passed away as Arahantas. But tried as they may, they used every tactic and strategy that they knew to get their son to go listen to the Buddha. But this young man simply refused. He said, I'm not interested in listening. I don't want to be religious. I just want to get on with my life that I enjoy. But the father on the deathbed still didn't give up, hoping that his son would one day listen to the Buddha and accept the Dhamma as the teachings. Told the son, when I have passed away, you must do this. Early in the morning, you bathe yourself and you stand at the crossroads of the city. And this was outside the great city of Rajagaha. You stand outside of the city and you pay respects to the 6 directions. That is east, east, south, west, north, the highest point, the zenith, and the lowest point, the nadir. And you do that every day. And there was a reason why the wise father who passed away as an arahant asked this young man to do that. So when the father passed away, this young man took over the household. He became the lord of the household, but he still remembered his pledge, his promise to the father to do this practice every day. So he did it every day. And one day, as the father predicted and hoped, the Buddha walked by this young man early in the morning as the sun was rising, doing this practice. So he was paying respects to the east, to the south, etc., etc. And the Buddha asked him, what are you doing, young man? Why are you doing this? And young Sigala explained to the Buddha, and very good. It is good that you are carrying out your father's instructions. But do you know the real meaning of paying respects to the 6 directions? And young Sigala said, actually, I've been doing this and I'm trying to figure out what is the significance of what my father wanted me to do. And so the Buddha explained to him that the 6 directions are actually paying respects to Yeah, the parents, the wife, the children, the business associates, the friends, all these make up the 6 directions. But before you pay respects, which means to maintain social harmony, you treat them well, they treat you well, there is social harmony. Everybody is happy. They get along and they are happy to see each other. So I discussed part of it, yeah, which means the responsibilities of the husband to the wife to the husband, the parents to the children, and the children to the parents during my last talk. But now what I would like to do is to lay the groundwork. That means to actually explain the importance first, yeah, of having some kind of protection, yeah, for yourself before you maintain these good relationships with the 6 groups of people. But even here, the Buddha explains to lay people, because many scholars and many religious people have said the Buddha is only interested in advising people to gain nibbana, that is to renounce and to be enlightened. But here, when you listen to the Buddha's advice, he understood the layman's life very, very well. Because you have to appreciate that he was not born as a monk. Yeah, he became a monk or an ascetic at the age of 29. So he had a very good idea. And because of his immense wisdom, he was able to understand what makes a good and harmonious community for the person and also for oneself. How do you maintain all the good relations and at the same time make sure that you also are secure and well off? So this section of the Sigalovada Sutta, I do encourage you, dear Dhamma brothers and sisters, to pick it up and read it. And there are other talks also on the Sigalovada Sutta, on the internet. Listen to it, because when we take in the advice, we become very secure. We know what we are doing. It is the right way to carry out our duties and maintain our relationships with the people around us. Without any social harmony, we will not get anywhere as a society, as a group of people. We might be all right ourselves, but when we reach out, we see the wider circle is not able to be to maintain good relationships with us. So therefore, not only do we look after ourselves, our family, we have to reach out to the wider community to ensure that they also are well. This is perfect community. This is the way that the Buddha advised the people at that time. Although we can say historically it has changed, communally it has changed, but to the human being, maintaining good relationships is still very important. We cannot live by ourselves. We cannot just look after the things that we have as our personal things. We also must try to reach out to others, to make sure that we come together for common causes and common goals that will enrich the wider community. So in order to do that, we must have the right attitude. So the Buddha explains it in the Sigalovada Sutta. Next slide, please. So the matter of protecting and maintaining one's safety and security, as well as the well-being in this world. So the key teaching of the Sigalovada Sutta directs us to live happy and harmonious life, as I mentioned. It is, you can call this the Vinaya of the householder. Vinaya means the code of conduct. The monks and the nuns, the renounced people, they have a set of behavior. We call these precepts that is referred to as the Vinaya. So there are certain ways for the monks and nuns to behave in order to ensure that they are morally upright. So in the Sigalovada Sutta, we find that this can be the Vinaya for the lay people, for the householder. And the scholar monk, American, Bhikkhu Bodhi, he is a great scholar, translator. He translates the Pali texts into English. There's still a lot of the Pali teachings that have not been translated into English. And since we are communicating in English, we are very, very indebted. That means we are very grateful to Bhikkhu Bodhi for the work in translating the teachings into English. So he described the suttas teachings as allowing us to obtain the happiness, a lay people's happiness, not just layman. I'm saying lay people's happiness directly in this present life. So when you maintain all these good behavior principles, you don't have to wait until you pass away. You can be happy here and now. That is the wonderful thing about these teachings. You put it into practice, happiness comes to you. You don't have to wait until you pass away. Then only nobody comes back to tell us, this is actually happening. The important thing is be happy in the present life. Do the right things, behave in the right way, have the right and suitable kind of understanding of life. And then we find we are actually very happy here in this present life. So this section, as I mentioned, lays out the actions which are conducive to a secure and trouble-free life. We want to avoid trouble in our life. If we don't follow this advice, trouble will follow us, come to us and disturb us. And we have to guard whatever we own as well. And the sutta also identifies the ways that we can lose our possessions, the material objects, the things that we work so hard to acquire. Next, please. So, in this sutta, this is what the Buddha explained to young Sigala. He said, inasmuch young householder as the noble disciple, so he is now trying, the Buddha is now trying to persuade the young Sigala to become a disciple. He doesn't have to put the label, I am a Buddhist. As long as Sigala understands and behaves the right way, he doesn't have to proclaim, I am a disciple of the Buddha. The Buddha was most concerned about the actual understanding and the actions of the person. Not so concerned about labels and percentages of who is who, what is what. We don't want to increase our numbers if those people who become Buddhists really don't understand Buddhism. So the important thing, there are many people in the world today who say Buddhism is very, very effective in getting my life to becoming balanced. And so they are actually subscribing to the Buddha's teachings, but they don't say, I am a Buddhist. They might say, I believe in Buddhism, or I am partial to the Buddha's teachings, but they might not register themselves as Buddhists. In fact, a lot of them register themselves as no particular religion, because they don't like what organized religion today, what religion has become in the world. Because many religions have become very dogmatic. Dogmatic. Yeah, they become very, very hard in the way that they think about things. So many people in the West, especially, they don't want to be so set, in being identified. They just want to follow some good principles, some good teachings, and they are happy with that. So the Buddha used this to convince Sigala to be a good person. That is what we want. The Buddha wanted Sigala to understand what are the ways to become a noble man, a noble disciple. Not exactly tick off the boxes, I am a Buddhist, but to become a noble person in the way that he understands and behaves. So here are the important teachings. They're altogether 14 things, 14 teachings or points that we need to take note of in this part of the teaching. Firstly, the layman must eradicate the 4 vices in conduct. There are 4 things which the layman must not do, must avoid, keep away from as much as possible. Because the Buddha refers to these actions as Dhamma kilesa. Karma, you can understand. Karma means you do something, the reaction will come back to you. That is karma. The law of cause and effect. We call that karma. But the word kilesa is very significant. Kilesa means it is not pure. It is a defilement. So when the defilements that are in us, that makes us very unhappy, that makes us angry, that makes us not really understand the truth, they have an effect on the way we behave. So the Buddha identified 4 of these, and we shall look at these 4 in a short while. So the Buddha said, once the layman has eradicated the 4 vices in conduct, then he does not commit evil actions in 4 ways. That means these are the base of doing bad things. These 4 entities, these 4 objects, or these 4 states of mind, they will influence the things that we do which are wrong, which will give us suffering and pain. When we do things that are not right, the response, the reaction is suffering and pain. So the Buddha said, as long as he does not commit evil actions following these 4 ways or these 4 grounds, he will be free of suffering and pain. Then he does not pursue the 6 channels for dissipating wealth. So this is where the Buddha is concerned about our wealth, the things that we own. He does not say, okay, go and find a tree and sit down under the tree and meditate. No, that is not all he teaches. He recognizes that lay people have wealth. So therefore, we as responsible people in society, responsible to our families, we must know how to maintain and protect our wealth so that we can spend it in a very, very in a very, very respectable way. Not spend it in the wrong way, spend it in a very respectable way, so that our family, our children, our parents, our friends can benefit from the way that we spend our money. So these actually 14 evil things, the 14 wrong behaviors, wrong actions, covers also the 6 quarters, the 6 directions, and enters, the person who avoids this, enters the path leading to victory in both worlds. What does he mean? What does the Buddha mean? Both worlds. That means he is favored in this world, the world now that we are living in, the world that we can see, and the world beyond, Because Buddhism, the Buddha did teach about future birth. So if we are all right now, we are all right in the future birth. And the Buddha declared, upon the dissolution of the body after death, if you follow this, avoid the 14 evil things, we will be born in a happy heavenly realm. That is the promise. Yeah, this is what the Buddha told young Sigala, and it holds true for us as well. Next, please. So the first, what are the 4 vices in conduct? There are quite a lot of teachings for us to cover, so I will just go very, very lightly, yeah, on these points. But I hope, brothers and sisters, yeah, our dear friends, you will follow up on these. Yeah, we don't have a lot of time to go in depth into each section. So the 4 vices in conduct that we must eradicate are these. Number 1, the destruction of life, killing. It is a vice. And stealing is a vice. It's not good. Sexual misconduct, wrong ways, yeah, of pleasing our senses is sexual misconduct. It is a vice. And lying, it is a vice. So these are 4 which we must keep away from. Do these sound familiar to you? Yes, you took the 5 precepts. Yeah, this morning we said panatipata, adinadana, kamesu bichachara, musavada veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami. And so the Buddha keeps reminding us, yeah, since the time he explained this to not just to Sigala, to many, many people, 2,600 years later, we are still reflecting on the advice from the Sigalovada Sutta. Then again, there's a question that you might ask. And what is this question? So there's precept number 1, killing, then stealing, then sexual misconduct, and then lying. Where is the 5th one? Don't worry, the 5th one is covered. The Buddha will touch, yeah, the Buddha does touch upon the 5th precept, because it is not just stating it. There is a wide influence on life at that time regarding the 5th precept of taking alcohol, intoxicants, and those type of substances. Then let's go down to the next section. In 4 ways, one commits evil action. That is by desire, chanda, by anger, dosa, by ignorance, moha, by fear, bahaya. Yeah, if bahaya sounds familiar to you, it has been taken and assimilated by the Malay language to sound like bahaya. But the original Indian word is bahaya, yeah, which means fear. But bahaya today in Malay language means danger. There's a connection between these 2 meanings. So we must understand that when we have desire, chanda, the chanda that we have can go 2 ways. There is chanda for good. Desire means wanting to do, wanting to carry out. So that thought, that desire appears in our mind. So that is called chanda. I want to go to pay respect to the Buddha this Sunday morning. That I want, yeah, is chanda. Alternatively, you can have another chanda. I want to go and beat somebody up this morning, and this person I don't like. So Sunday morning, he is at home. I know he is there. I will go and shout at him. And then when I get into the house, I will beat him up. That is also chanda. But this chanda is a wrong chanda. It is an evil chanda. You can have good chanda. And when we want to do good things that are good, that are right and wholesome, the chanda will take us far on this spiritual journey, will take us far along this noble eightfold path. So we have to guard against chanda, which is wrong and unwholesome, and used by the translators, the English translators, they use the word evil. Evil, I think, is quite drastic. We can say unwholesome and wrong and not profitable. So the chanda be profitable. And this is why we are now enjoying our lives, because our chanda to study, our chanda to work, our chanda to provide for our family brings us to this comfortable situation. Next, but the wrong chanda, the evil chanda, to cheat people, as in the first verse, to kill, to steal, to have sexual misconduct, and to lie, that is wrong chanda. It's chanda that is not going to bring good things to us. So the Buddha explains it right at the beginning. Then we shouldn't do things by dosa, which is anger. We shouldn't act in an angry way, because definitely the Buddha said in many places, anything that is done inspired by anger can never bring good result. There can never be good result from anger. And some people say, I do good things in the name of anger. I do, there is a good thing that I do, right? For example, sometimes they go to war in the name of their cause. And they say, this is a righteous war. In the Buddha's perspective, there cannot be any righteous war. You cannot go to war and kill people righteously. Killing people is wrong. Start and end, it is wrong. End of the story. So the Buddha said, if you want to kill people, it will be motivated by anger. So therefore, be very careful. Step back. If we don't have anger, we cannot kill anything. And that's a fact. The action of anger is motivated, is energized by anger. If you want to kill, you must have this anger. If you want to hit people, you also must have anger. You cannot hit people with love. Even sometimes parents, when they actually they try to discipline their children, but that disciplining of caning is done with anger. You might say, sometimes we discipline our children and say, I beat you up because I love you, right? It's true, there is love, but the action of beating is done with anger. You cannot hurt people without anger, right? So there are some wise parents who explains, who might discipline their children, in a very more rational and thoughtful way. But when you want to kill anything, it is motivated by anger. Then it is also motivated, wrong things are motivated by moha, ignorance. In fact, our lives are actually driven by ignorance. We think that the things that we amass, the things that we bring in, our property belongs to us. But eventually, even this body doesn't belong to us. So we are operating on a false premise. We are operating from a position of blurriness. Allow me to use this word. We are blur, in the way that we understand. So the wiser we become, the less blur we are, the less ignorant we are. And the next one is, we do things out of bahaya, which is fear. We fear something. And fear and anger are very close relations. They are good friends. If you fear, you will get angry. If you are angry, you will also fear. These two things are always usually very, very close to each other. So the Buddha says a noble disciple must not be led by desire, wrong desire, anger, ignorance, and fear. So he commits no evil. Then his life will be secure. He won't have to worry about anyone taking revenge on him. He doesn't have to worry about police appearing at his doorstep wanting to arrest him. There is nothing that he is worried about that will get him into deep trouble, with the law, with other people, with people that want to do him any harm. Next, please. So when the exalted one had spoken, when the Buddha had spoken, the young Sigala said, no, he explained further, whoever through desire, hate, or fear of ignorance should do it in the wrong way, his glory will fade away. Just like the moon that is shrinking, that is losing its brightness. But if he does do things, not out of wrong desire, hate, or fear of ignorance, his glory will increase, like the brightening moon, the moon that is becoming more and more full. Our reputation will be good. Our respect from others, will grow and grow and grow. Next, please. Then the Buddha goes on to explain. So we have 4 plus 4 is already 8. So 8 plus this 6 is 14. So 6 channels for dissipating wealth. And the Buddha cares about our wealth. He is not just about meditation, and deep religious principles. He cares that whatever we own, should be looked after, because he understands the security of a layman's life. The lay people, they work so hard, they must be able to enjoy what they work for. So he explains this. Number 1, how to lose your wealth. Habitual indulgence, this is habitual. You keep on doing it again and again. In intoxicants, which causes infatuation and heedlessness. That is number 1 way to lose your wealth. Number 2, sauntering the streets at unseemly hours. That means when everybody has gone to sleep, you are still wandering the streets, looking for entertainment, which also is explained. Frequenting theatrical shows. That means you are looking for entertainment. You go around looking for entertainment. Who can entertain me at this time? So when people, most people have retired and gone to sleep, this person still goes around. Where can I get some entertainment? Where can I get some high in my life? Still looking for it. Then indulgence in gambling. This also, the Buddha said, if you indulge too much, you will get into deep trouble. And we have heard very, very often of people who go up the Genting Highlands. Have you heard? I'm sure you have heard. They go up Genting Highlands as millionaires, and they come down the Genting Highlands as paupers, as beggars, as nothing. Everything that they own, they sign away as they are gambling, because they cannot control themselves. During when they are gambling, they keep saying the next one will be good for me. The next throw, the next round of whatever it is will be good for me. So they will bet. They will put all that they own, and then they find it doesn't happen. They keep on losing and losing and losing, and when they finally realize that everything is gone, it is too late. So we hear these stories, quite a lot of it, and not just in going up to the casino. There are also those people who gamble. Here, I've heard of people putting up the shop lots, their houses, the land that they own, all lost through gambling. And this is not just the gambling that Chinese people do, during Chinese New Year. This is real indulgent gambling. Then association with evil friends. That also will cause you to lose your property. Then the habit of idleness, laziness, not wanting to do work, will cause a person to lose the wealth. So we go into it one by one, right? Let's look at the habitual indulgence of intoxicants. Firstly, this is the result. This is what will happen. Firstly, there is loss of wealth, because you spend money on the drink. You keep spending money on, sometimes you will buy others drinks as well. So you keep on. The money goes out, and drinks are not cheap. Yeah, I hear they are not cheap because you can drink the really expensive stuff, which I have heard can cost thousands of ringgit for one bottle, right? And then they keep on drinking. So loss of wealth. You will increase your quarrelsome nature. So when people are drunk, yeah, they become quarrelsome. They start to say very, very hurtful things. And other people who are also drunk, they don't like it. Then they start quarreling, and a lot of bad feelings will arise. They are susceptible to disease. The more you drink, the more your immune system goes down. This is not the time, yeah, dear brothers and sisters, for heavy drinking, because the COVID virus, yeah, will attack you. You can drink maybe one glass, right? During dinner or whatever. They say, yeah, a little bit of wine is good for the heart and all that, but don't overdo it. Yeah, don't overdo it. And if there are other things that can replace that glass of wine, then you take other things rather than be dependent on this alcohol. So then you earn an evil reputation. Of course, when you are drunk, you do all kinds of really silly things, and people will witness. They will see, so and so, he's a very, very famous person. When he got drunk, he did this. Oh, very, very shameful things that he did, right? And then there is shameless exposure of body. The Buddha knew this. Right? When you get drunk, you will start taking off your clothes. You expose yourself, right? Doing all sorts of things. And people nowadays with the mobile phones, the handphones, nothing will escape. Yeah, photography. So when you do all these things, people take pictures. And after they take pictures, they might blackmail you. Even more trouble, right? And there is a weakening of intellect. Of course, when you get drunk, yeah, it affects your brain. When your brain is not able to work, you become less intelligent. So the Buddha says, don't drink habitually. Don't keep on drinking until you become drunk. Okay, next, please. Then sauntering the streets at unseemly hours. That means you go out. When people are back in their homes, right, you are still looking for things to do. Yeah, you don't want to sleep. You only sleep when others wake up. What kind of a life is that? Surely your wealth and your property will go away if your lifestyle is like this. So why does he lose his wealth? He is unprotected and unguarded. You go out at night, you are looking for trouble, especially certain parts of the city, certain parts of where we live, the towns are not good for people to wander there at night. Dangerous, full of dangerous and hateful people, evil people, right, who will take away your things. His wife and children are unprotected and unguarded. So this is the way in Indian society at that time. When a person, and this usually, yeah, refers to unmarried people, because if a man is married, after work, he is expected to go home. Go home to your wife and your children. Don't leave them at home. They're unguarded. But a person who is not married, and not to say all the time he's not married, there are some married people also looking to do, all these things at night. And he will go out. And then the children, the wife, also parents are not guarded. So people might come in and rob them. This will happen. It happens a lot, especially during the hard economic times. His property is unprotected and unguarded. That's for sure. If you're not at home, if nobody is at home, the robbers and the thieves will know there's nobody at home. Let me go into his house and steal his things. He is suspected of evil deeds. That means even if he doesn't do, people will say he did. Why? Because you are out there at night. Everybody should be sleeping. And you are wandering around. When some bad thing happens, people will point the finger at you. Why? Because you were out there. You were not sleeping at home. You were not with your family at home. So you will get a bad reputation. And he is subject to false rumors. People say bad things about him. He meets with many troubles. That doesn't need explanation. So, my dear Dhamma brothers and sisters, what is the modern equivalent? And I have seen this in my students, young people. What is the equivalent of them sauntering the streets at unseemly hours? They go on the internet. They play all these digital computer games with others, and they don't sleep. So when I was still lecturing in the university, I found that some of my students, they don't come to class. Why don't they come to class? Because last night, they played computer games until 7, 8 o'clock. And then after they finish their computer games, they fall asleep. And they can't wake up to come to class at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. They can't wake up. So they are out there doing all these very, very strange things. I'm not saying computer games are strange. What I'm saying is they are doing it in a way which shows addiction. So walking the streets at the very odd hours is an addiction. Playing computer games over the internet until you don't get any rest, any sleep, any food. Actually, they don't eat, because they need to play the game. Is an addiction. The Buddha says addiction, craving in extreme is very dangerous. So let me go on. Yeah, you understand this. Frequenting theatrical shows or festivals. See, he is ever thinking, where's the dancing? Where's the singing? Where's the music? Where's the recitation? Where are the cymbals? Cymbals means makes beating and makes noise. Where is the pot drumming? That means the rhythm. Yeah, in those days they had the kettle drumming. I mean, they pom 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 pom, and there was all these sounds. So we ask this. The people who ask this are those who are addicted to entertainment. They want to entertain themselves. So the modern equivalent is there are people who are so addicted to entertainment, they do not eat and sleep. And in the early days, and I think maybe even now, there were people addicted to the television serials. Have you heard of that? They are so addicted to the television program, that they will eat in front of the television program. After this ends, they want to know what happens in the next episode. So they cannot stop. They keep going, until their eyes also become swollen. Then they get all sorts of sicknesses because they are addicted to the television program, the serial, one after the other. Sometimes I hear that there are 100 programs, 100 episodes in this serial. That is the modern day equivalent of frequenting theatrical shows. In those days, there was no internet when the Buddha was preaching. But people will go around, they will start singing, drinking, looking for entertainment, looking for singers, looking for dancers. That's what they want. So the Buddha says, this is a way to lose your wealth because you're always spending money. You're not earning money and protecting your property. Next, please. Then gambling. Okay, gambling, I think, is a given. You understand. Lose your wealth, people will not trust you. That means here it says your word is not relied upon in a court of law. So even if you want to be a good witness for your friend, the lawyer will say, can you trust him? He's a gambler. We can't trust him. Maybe somebody gave him money to say good things for his friend. No reputation. People don't trust what you say if you're a gambler. He is despised by his friends. Because you know why they despise you? You go there, approach them, and then you ask for money. Because gambling, you need money. So when you approach your relatives and your friends, they keep away from you. Here he comes. What is he good for? He's good for nothing. all he wants to do is borrow money. I don't want to lend him anymore. I already lent him a lot. Sometimes your family members might say, I already have lent him a lot. He takes the money, he goes up there, he gambles, he loses it, and he comes back. I don't want to see him anymore. Please tell him to stay away. So that happens if one is addicted. This is a sign of addiction to gambling. He is not sought after for matrimony. Nobody wants to marry him or her. People would say he's a gambler and not fit to look after a wife. So if it's a man, nobody wants to marry the daughter to you because you're a gambler. How can you look after, this daughter that they think you want to marry? So your reputation now and your reputation to do good things in the future gone. There's terrible consequences. Then there is associating with evil friends. What are these evil friends? And we will go deeper into that very quickly. Any gambler, any libertine. What is a libertine? A libertine is a person who lives enjoying his senses. Everything that can indulge in the senses, whether eating, drinking, having sex and all this, he or she will just want to do it in order to spend some time. So the life is geared towards enjoyment. Even shopping, even watching the Korean serials, this is not the right thing. If you get too addicted, I'm not saying watching TV is not good. Addiction to them is not good, right? Any drunkard, swindler, cheat, rowdy. Rowdy means very noisy. They cannot speak properly. Shout at you and very, very loud words. You will lose your wealth if you associate with these kind of people. Next, please. Right. So, and then if you are addicted also to idleness, he does no work, saying, "Oh, now, it's so hot now. It's already too late in the evening. It's too early in the morning. I'm very hungry. I can't work. I'm too full. I can't work." Or we can also say in the same line of reasoning, it's raining, I can't work. The sun is too hot, I can't work. There are too many cars on the road, I can't work. So if you don't work, the Buddha says, if you are idle, you are lazy, you don't want to sweat, to do work, you will lose your wealth. We can understand that very well. So the Buddha encourages the lay people to put in their energy to earn money, to look after themselves, to buy things, and to be comfortable. Next, please. So here now we look at the foes, the enemies who look like friends. First one, he appropriates his friend's possessions. That means he wants and he uses his friend's possessions. Number two, he who renders lip service, he is a flatterer. That means he always talks good things. Number three, he who flatters, flatterer, which means he will praise, etc., etc. And then he who brings ruin. These four people, my dear brothers and sisters, please look out for them, because they can appear like friends, but when you really need their help, they disappear. They only say nice things. They only maintain a smiling face when everything is good. When times are bad, you look for them, boom, they are the first to disappear. So first one, he who appropriates, that means he likes to use your wealth, but he doesn't give you anything in return. He just says, hey, this one is very good. Now, can you buy this for me? Let's go for dinner. Your treat, you treat this time. Next time I will treat. Then when next time comes, sorry, I got no money to treat you. Right? He does his duty out of fear. That means he only associates with you because he's got nothing. Out of fear, he comes to you and he associates for his own advantage. He doesn't think of you, he only thinks of himself. Right. Next, please. He who renders only lip service, that means talk and talk a lot, but the words are empty. It's very hollow. He keeps on talking, but nothing happens. So he will always talk about what he did for you in the past. Remember 10 years ago, I took you out for teh tarik. 10 years ago. I remember, I have done all these things. And then you think about it, I'm not sure whether he did it or not, right? But it is 10 years ago or many years ago. And then he says, don't worry, and now you pay. Next week I will pay. Next week I will bring out my money and cover this meal. Then when next week comes, after eating, he said, I left my wallet at home. I left my purse at home. I can't pay for it. You pay lah. Next week I will pay. The next meal I will pay. And he never actually does that. He tries to gain your favor by empty words. He's got all sorts of nice things to say to you. All sorts of plans, but never come about. His opportunity of service, when opportunity for his help, he says, I can't help. Today, I know you are moving house. Definitely you need help to move house. But today I cannot. Because why? Because somebody is coming to check my electricity meter. So I cannot help you. You please go ahead. Next time when you move house, I will come and help. This is what he said. Never comes about. Then the person who flatters you, he approves of your evil deeds. When you do good things, bad things, he will say, oh, very good. It's very brave that you can do it. I admire you for doing such things. When you do good things, he says, no, you are wasting your money doing charity. Why you give those people? If you give those people your money, they don't work. So let them go and work. All those people don't work. They expect to be looked after. So the more you do it, the more they will become lazy. So he doesn't approve of your doing charity, your dana. He praises him in the presence. When you are there, he will say good things. When you are not there, behind your back, he will say bad things. Very dangerous. Okay, next please. Then who brings ruin to you? That means when you want to do wrong things in the way of drinking or intoxicants, he will be there. Right? Then he will say to you, okay, buy this round of drinks. Next round I will pay. He never pays. But he is always there. Whenever you go drinking, or doing wrong, taking wrong things, he will be there. When you go and wander the streets at night, he will be with you. A good friend, the good companion in wandering the streets. When you go and find entertainment, he will be there. When you go gambling, he will also be there. But he will try and borrow money from you first. So the Buddha says, these four groups of people, watch out for them. But the Buddha alternatively, conversely, tells you about good friends. Next, please. Warm-hearted friends. The first one, he is a helpmate. Always want to help you. Always turn up whenever you need any kind of assistance. Number two, he is same in happiness and in sorrow. When you are in good times, he will be happy. When you are in bad times, it's not to say he will be happy, but he is with you. He will stand by your side. He will still support you. Number three, he gives good counsel. He's a counselor. He gives you good advice. Do this, don't do that. Keep away from bad things. Now you might think this is a good deal. Too good to be true deals. Don't take it. Then he who sympathizes. So the helpmate is like this. He guards the heedless. That means if you are not able to look after yourself, he will guard you. He will stand there. He will not move away from looking after you. He protects your wealth. That means your house, your car, your possessions. If you cannot protect it, he or she will protect it. He becomes a refuge in times of danger. When you really need someone to look after you or provide you some shelter, he will shelter you. When there are commitments, that means you ask him, can you lend me 100 ringgit. I need it to cover my expense. 100 ringgit not enough. Take 200 ringgit. So this person is a really good friend. Next, please. He is the same in happiness and in sorrow. He will behave like this. He will tell you his secrets. He will tell you, these are the things that I keep in my heart so that you can understand him. Your secrets, he will never take out. In misfortune, he does not forsake you. That means bad times, he will still stay by you. He will also say good things to you. And he might sacrifice his life. Do you think there are such people? I think there are. He will sacrifice his life for your sake, to protect you, to get you out of harm. He might even sacrifice his life. So this is very important, my dear friends. Whatever you understand about a person, whatever secrets a person tells you, or whatever you see happening to one person inside the house or outside the house, don't take that secret and expose it to everybody. That is not an ethical way of behaving. You have to guard your mouth. You have to guard your words, because your friend expects you to guard your words. Yeah, you know him or her so well. Yeah, definitely there are things that are not good for the world, the whole world to know. So he expects you to guard those things. Because also know that when you expose secrets of your friends, you yourself also will have a bad reputation. Nobody want to tell you anything. Why? Because you keep on telling other people's secrets to others. So I don't tell you anything. If I tell you, you also will go and share with others. Then all my secrets all gone. The whole world will know. That is not a good way to behave. You must protect your friend, your family, your household, all the things that are going on. They might not necessarily be secrets, but we are not perfect people. We also do things that are not right. You cannot take these messages, these actions, the knowledge of what these people do outside your house. So keep the Buddha said, keep the household fire in the house. That means all those things that are not done rightly. Keep the household fire within the house. Don't take the household fire outside. Then he is a good counselor. He tells you the right things. He tells you things as they really are. He won't tell you what you want to hear at that time. He says, this is the truth. This is the reality. You better listen to me. And he encourages you to do good. And he also, lastly, very interestingly, he points out the path to heaven. That means he looks after you even when you have passed on. When you know what you are doing in this life is good, he is very happy. Because when you do these good things, that means in next life, you can also be comfortable. Next, please. Right? So the person who sympathizes is also very good. He does not rejoice in your misfortune. He rejoices in your prosperity. He restrains others who want to say bad things about you. He will tell other people out there, don't say bad things. Please, don't say bad things about my friend. He's a good person. I know you might know certain things, but I don't want to hear about this. So he protects you. Then, he praises those who speak well of you. So if you say good things about the friend, you'll say, I agree with you. He's a really good person. Thank you for saying so. So that, is a really good friend that we need for times like these. When people sometimes have no ethics and morals, you must seek out such friends. Next, please. So we come to the end of this sharing. And the young man Sigala was so impressed by the Buddha's teaching. So he said, I didn't understand before, now I understand. thank you very much for explaining. My father wanted me to understand this, so he asked me to do all these things. Now the wonderful teacher, the Buddha, made things clear to me. So he took refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and he started to associate, give dana to the monks and nuns, and he became a very good disciple of the Buddha. So, with that, dear brothers and sisters, it is a lot to share, but I hope you will take this in and reflect upon it, and how we can do better as companions to each other. Let us protect each other during this hard time. Let's not be harsh and hard to each other. Let us open our hearts and be compassionate to each other, so that whatever we hold dear, whatever are important to us, we can protect and we can maintain. Next, please. Thank you very much, dear Dhamma brothers and sisters, for your kind attention. Sabbe satta sukhi hotu. May you be well and happy.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Brother Siang Chye, for the very interesting, educational, very informative and inspirational Dhamma talk this morning, which was based on the Sigalovata Sutta, the principles of which can enrich our life as a householder for a happy and harmonious life. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, we shall now proceed with the Q&A session. If you have any questions, you may type your questions in the comment section. I mean in the comment box. Is there any question? Yeah, there's this question from Brother Hai Ing. If we do not have self-compassion for ourselves and family, and reward ourselves accordingly, but only totally focus on helping others, especially strangers, it's not healthy as the Buddha taught moderation in daily life. We must use wisdom and balance our compassion. Do you agree, Brother Siang Chye?
Yes, totally. I mean, we must look after ourselves. That's why the Buddha gave all this advice. If we are satisfied, if we are happy, as whom we are, then we can share this happiness with people outside. That means others, even strangers. So the important thing is the Buddha places a lot of emphasis on, first you look after yourself, then you look after your family, which is next to you, then you look after your friends, then you look after the community, and then the wider world, with all beings living in it. If you cannot be compassionate to yourself, you cannot really be kind and useful to other people. So you must consider, what can I do in order to be good to myself and to protect and maintain what I have. You cannot let people come and just take whatever you have, although they want it. Some people will say, hey, I like your car, and I have your car. And you can't do such things, right? You are not a bodhisattva who want to give everything away. Therefore, it's important that we first of all feel good about ourselves. I know there is this, the Buddha taught that we should be selfless. We are selfless when we can afford to share things with other people. But if you yourself cannot look after yourself, it's very difficult. So you must be in a good position first. You must be able to be secure. You must be able to be materially very strong. Then you can start sharing this with others. So the more you have, more share with others. That is what the Buddha wanted for lay people. For the monks and nuns, it's a different story. So we don't mistakenly think that the Buddha's advice for the monks and nuns can be transferred onto us if we are not ready. There are lay people who cannot renounce. They have some reason. They might have responsibilities, etc., reasons to stop them from renouncing. So they also want to lead a good spiritual life. So they simplify their lives. But for the ordinary person, the ordinary person must work for a living. That's why the Buddha said, don't be lazy. Go out there and do your best. In the Mangala Sutta, you can see, the Buddha even said, you must get good training. You must have that good education. Yeah, either training or education so that your job can pay you well. Don't, even if you don't know very much when you are young, go and learn something. You call it perfect handicraft. You must have a good handicraft. Then people will pay you acceptable salary. And with this salary, you can maintain yourself. You can have a good house. You can have a nice car. You can get married. You can have wife. You can have children. You can look after your parents and your wider family. So the Buddha encouraged this. Yeah, the Buddha said, this is very good. And then when you are very secure, you can also donate towards the monks, the nuns, the temples, the religious centers. All these people, you can maintain them. It all comes from you. But if you don't know how to look after yourself, you cannot look after others. So you might be very, very compassionate. You give things away. Then after that, you don't have those things. Your health might suffer. And then when your health suffers, who's going to look after you? So therefore, the Buddha says, important that you be self-compassionate. Have some compassion for yourself. Have loving kindness for yourself. Do what is necessary. It doesn't mean that you must take care of yourself with every single thing that you earn. Is only for me. I earn it, therefore I spend it. Yeah, that is also an extreme form of thinking. It is an addiction. There are some people who are addicted to shopping. Every time they get salary, shop until no more already. That is an addiction. Addiction means craving, and it is something that can grow. So we might be addicted to one thing. That addiction can be transferred to another thing. So be very careful about all these addictions. So definitely, look after yourself, be wise, be balanced. Yeah. Then when you look after yourself well, then look after other people.
Sadhu. Thank you so much for your very excellent answer. With so much wisdom to a very good question. I can see the response from Brother Hai Ing. He says, Sadhu, excellent response to my question. Very insightful and critical for daily dealings. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Next question. Brother Siang Chye, with regards to good and bad friends, is a person who is very friendly to others both inside and outside the Buddhist vihara, but does not give any financial help or caring concerns when needed by others. Considered a good friend? Is he still considered a good friend?
Well, he might be a good friend to you, but he might not be a good friend to others. So in my opinion, is that you cannot ask too much of people. Sometimes people will choose whom they want to be friendly with. It is only those who are wise and they don't really have a strong sense of self, a strong sense of ego, who want to help as many people as possible. But we cannot say that they are not good friends, because they are good friends to you. They want to help you, want to take care of you, or want to be good to people who are within the Buddhist vihara. And therefore, they are good friends. To those Buddhists, they are good friends. But there are times when we develop our wisdom and we develop our compassion. And with this compassion, we react to every suffering being. So the suffering being, whether Buddhist or not, the person will still want to help them. But that takes quite a bit of wisdom. Yeah, you must be wise enough to want to help others. But then we don't have a lot of resources. We are not very rich people. We are comfortable, but we might not be very rich. I mean, there are those within our community who are millionaires. Yeah, I don't know of any billionaires, but certainly some in our community are very, very well off. They can help quite a bit. So do your best, to help as many people as you can. But we must allow them, in my opinion, to make their own decisions whom they want to help. If they feel that this charity is very good, then they will help that charity. But as long as they help somebody, then it's good enough. Right? They will be considered very generous. They will be considered those people who can do dana, do charity, and they have kindness. But it's not easy to find a person who is kind to everyone, because you need a lot of compassion for that. But there are people who are so compassionate that whomever comes in, they will help them. Yeah, there is a temple in India. I won't mention which temple. If you are hungry, you go in that temple, no matter who you are, you will still be given some food. You will get some chapati and some dal and some vegetables. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you look like, what is your skin color. You go inside there, the compassion is so great. They serve everybody who is hungry. So that is compassion. Yeah, that means that they want to serve people who are not of the same religion and the same faith. That shows very deep compassion, also shows very deep wisdom, actually. So the humanity, the quality and the level of their human being, that there are other human beings who are suffering, that is very, very good. Yeah, we must acknowledge them, because they don't confine their sense of charity only to their group. When you go out of your group to do charity, that shows your heart is very open, very wide. You can see the suffering of those not associated with you. And we know that there is so much suffering in this world. Suffering is not just the Buddhists who are suffering. It's not just our own people who are suffering. Yeah, everybody is suffering. So knowing that, we want to help them relieve the suffering. I hope that is a good enough answer.
Yeah,
My
thank you.
opinion.
Yeah,
My
Sadhu,
opinion.
Sadhu for the very excellent answers. Any more questions? Looks like there's no more questions. If there's no other questions, once again, thank you, Brother Siang Chye, for the very excellent, very educational, inspirational, and inspiring talk this morning, and also the very enlightening answers given to us. I think we have a lot of take-home value on how to enrich our life for a happy and harmonious life in a householder way of life. Thank you, Brother Siang Chye. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Brother Tan Sang Chai, for the Dhamma sharing, protecting and maintaining one's safety and well-being under the Tigalovada Sutta. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, this morning we have participated in the Sunday Buddha Puja service and listening to the Dhamma talk and Q&A session. With the merits accrued, let us share and transferring the merits to all our living and departed relatives, families and friends and all beings. We shall also share the merits with those who had fallen ill due to the COVID-19. May they have a speedy recovery. Patidana. Akasata cha bummata devanaga mahedika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakantu lokasasanang chirang rakantu desanang chirang rakantu mangparang etavata cha amhehi Sambadang punya sambadang sabbe deva sabbe sata sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idang me nyadinang hodu sukita hondu nyadayo. Idang me nyadinang hodu sukita hondu nyadayo. Idang me nyadinang hodu sukita hondu nyadayo. Imang no punya bagang Mata pitunancha, acharyanancha, sabba satanancha, sabba mitanancha, sabba nyatinancha, sabba vedanancha, sabba devatanancha, bhajema. Imang no punya bagang, Sabba satanang dema, sabbe sata sukita hontu. Imina punya kamena, mame bala samagamo, satang samagamo hotu, yava nibbana patiya. Idang me punyang asavakaya vahang hotu. Idang me punyang nibbanasa pacayo hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, before we end, let us pay homage to the Triple Gem. Budang bujemi, Dhammang bujemi, Sanghang bujemi. Sukhi Hontu. To all the devotees, thank you very much for participating. To those who have been giving us likes, love, and responses in the comments box, thank you very much. Please help me to thank the speaker, Brother Tan Sang Chye, the organizing team. We have come to the end of this 44th online Sunday Buddha Puja service. We will continue with the Sunday Buddha Puja service on next Sunday, 23rd of May. You may join us earlier for the Voices of Bloom segment at 9:15 a.m. You may consider to watch it together with your family. Do it in the family hall. Please refer to the Facebook of your society for information. With the COVID-19 pandemic, we hope you will continue to play your part. Stay safe, stay home. May you and family be safe, well, happy, and peaceful always. Suki hontu, goodbye. Sabbe sata sukita hontu.
Bahong sahan semabhinim mite sayudantang ngirimi kelang uditego Sasene marang dana